more sad news, 10 Hall of Famers in the last 9 months, beginning with Al Kaline in April. And, of course, when you talk about Hank Aaron, it's insufficient to say that he's a baseball Hall of Famer. It's even insufficient to say he's one of the all-time true inner circle greatest baseball players. All of that is true. But Hank Aaron transcended that. Hank Aaron is an American hero. And as you mentioned a moment ago, a legitimate civil rights hero. It's often a cliche when people say, well, he was great at this or that, but he was also a great person. That happens to be true, though. Cliches become cliches because at least occasionally they're true. Hank Aaron was a great, great baseball player. He was also a very decent man. And I think a lot of what he was able to accomplish beyond baseball flowed from the fact that he was such an essentially good and decent man.
So let's. How do you want to handle this, Bob? Because the story of how he broke into the bigs, and then what he became, and then what he was after playing, and then the night of April 8th, 1974. I guess let's get to that. I guess as the through line was that night. What were your recollections of it, and what conversations might have you had with Hank Aaron about that night where he broke the record?
Well, you think about that night, and before I get into the contrast, I want to say that I just read a very gracious statement that Barry Bonds put out upon learning of Hank Aaron's death. So we have to give Barry credit for that. But now, when you think about April 8th, 1974, some of your audience isn't old enough to have witnessed it firsthand. I did. I was a senior at Syracuse University. Watched it on NBC that night with Curt Gowdy and Joe Garagiola. Of course, Milo Hamilton's radio call for the Braves and Vin Scully, typically great on Dodger radio, are also frequently heard. But I remember Curt Gowdy and Joe Garagiola that night. I was working already at WSYR TV and radio in Syracuse while still going to classes at the university. So I was in the newsroom at WSYR TV. And I remember that even then, and you couldn't take this for granted in 1974, there were two black staffers there. One was a cameraman and one was a reporter, along with a couple of members of the sports staff and the news staff. And everybody stopped, no matter what they were doing. Aaron had one at-bat earlier in the game, I think, and he walked. But each time he came up to bat, everything stopped, and everyone focused on the game. You have to remember that then baseball was the true national pastime. You look at World Series and All-Star Game ratings then as opposed to now. And it was on NBC, not on ESPN. No disrespect intended. Mm-hmm. It just had a different national impact. Everyone was talking about it. You didn't have to know a sacrifice bunt from a sacrifice fly to know that this really mattered. And to give you an idea of what a different time it was, here's the 9 or 10 of us decide collectively, let's send Henry Aaron a telegram to congratulate him. So we sent a telegram. I don't even know if Western Union and telegrams exist anymore. We sent a telegram to the Braves offices in Atlanta. You just think about this, right? Henry Aaron probably being congratulated by everyone in baseball, by presidents and dignitaries. Hey, is there a telegram in there from Bobby Costas and then the guys at WS? Yeah, pull that out. I'd like to frame that one. But anyway,
I love it.
You contrast that with the night that Bonds statistically only surpassed Henry Aaron. Barry Bonds has 7 more home runs than Henry Aaron. That is a statistical fact. What Henry Aaron did on April 8, 1974 has a deeper meaning and a deeper resonance. And so you contrast the ambivalence that people felt about what happened in 2007 in San Francisco against the deep and abiding respect and appreciation that the images of April 8th, 1974 in Atlanta call forth. You know, things are objectively factual, statistically factual, and then there's a matter of what it means to people emotionally what it means historically, what it means in legend. Henry Aaron had all that 1,000 times over that night and throughout his career.
Did you ever have a conversation with him about the hate mail that he kept in his attic? Well,
yes.
Okay. What was that about?
We did. We talked about it. It was an honor to be able to say not only that I covered and interviewed Hank Aaron, but that we were friends. And he asked me to MC a few events, charitable events that he was part of, a birthday celebration that President Clinton attended and the Temptations performed at, I guess sometime in the late 90s because Clinton was still president. So I knew Henry pretty well. And we had this conversation both privately and once on the air. And my point to him was, I just hope you know that even in the face of this stark, unvarnished racism that you faced, and I understand why you would keep those letters, because he had explained it many times. He didn't want to forget what it was that he faced. And one reality, not the only reality, but one reality of what America was at that time. And I might say parenthetically here, Rich, we thought that had been confined to the deepest, darkest corners. I'd like to think it isn't something that we're going to be living with forever. But we've seen in recent years that dark element of American life has not been extinguished. It exists, and it's larger than we wanted to believe it was. But it was right in Henry Aaron's face as he approached Babe Ruth's record. But the point I wanted to make to him was, I hope you knew then and now that millions and millions of white Americans were also rooting for you. Not just black America. A sizable portion of white America got it. Surpassing Babe Ruth's home run total doesn't mean that Babe Ruth wasn't an all-time great player and that he doesn't matter anymore in baseball history. He'll always matter. Here's the proof. He still does. Babe Ruth's name still resonates. But that millions of white Americans, even then, not in retrospect, but even then, had some understanding. They couldn't have a full understanding because they didn't experience it directly, but some understanding of what it was you faced, not just as a player, but as a person. And great respect and admiration for you triumphing not only on the field, but over all the societal pressures that you faced. And his face softened in a small smile, and he said, yes, I understand that. I've always understood it, and I understand it now, but that doesn't change the other reality. And, of course, he's right. You know, these aren't realities that you have to pick a side. They're both true. One is a glorious and triumphant reality, Henry Aaron's story, and the other is an ugly reality, what he had to face in addition to rival pitchers. And even today, we see that in one way or another, that awful element of American life has not been fully extinguished. We still have to confront it.